Imagine this. 9 young, fearless students, deep in the heart of the Ural Mountains in 1959. Their goal, to conquer a frozen peak. They were full of life, laughter, and ambition. But they had no idea that the mountain they chose had a name given by the local Mensi people call it Si. In their language it means the mountain of the dead. On January 25th, they set off. They were experienced hikers, led by the capable Dyatlov. They kept a detailed journal, filling its pages with jokes, songs, and the simple joys of their adventure. Their entries paint a picture of youthful confidence, completely unaware of the fate awaiting them. The very last entry in that journal was made on February 1st. After that, only a chilling, absolute silence. Days turned into weeks. When the group failed to return, search parties were dispatched into the unforgiving wilderness. On February 26, they finally found the hiker's tent, half swallowed by snow. But what they discovered inside sent a shiver down the spine of even the most hardened rescuers. The tent had been violently sliced open, but not from the outside. It was cut from within, as if the occupants had clawed their way out in a desperate, blind panic. Inside, their warm clothes, boots, and supplies were left behind, neatly arranged. Outside, a trail of footprints led away from the camp into the deadly cold. The tracks were scattered, chaotic, and horrifyingly. They were made by people who were barefoot or wearing only socks. They had fled their only shelter, half-dressed, into a frozen hell. What could possibly drive 9 experienced mountaineers to do something so completely irrational? Their hands were torn and bloodied, the bark of the tree as if they had frantically tried to climb it to escape something below. Nearby, the searchers found the remnants of a small, hastily made fire that had long since burned out. 3 more bodies, including that of the group's leader, Dyatlov, were discovered between the cedar tree and the camp. They were positioned as if they had been crawling back towards the tent, a final, futile attempt to reach safety before succumbing to the brutal cold. Their journey had ended, frozen in poses of desperation. But the most disturbing discoveries were yet to come. It took another 2 months for the remaining 4 hikers to be found. They were discovered buried under more than 12 feet of snow in a remote ravine, swept away by an avalanche or placed there by something else. And the condition of these bodies was unlike anything the investigators had ever seen. One man had a skull fracture so severe, it was comparable to being hit by a car. Another had multiple crushed ribs, but strangely, no external bruises, as if he had been squeezed by an immense, invisible force. But the most gruesome finding was the body of Lyudmila Dubanina. She was missing her eyes, and her tongue had been completely removed. The official report noted that there were no signs of a struggle. It was as if these injuries had been inflicted with surgical precision. Who, or what, could have done this in the middle of a desolate, frozen wilderness? The autopsy reports only deepened the mystery. The medical examiner concluded that the internal injuries on the last 4 hikers could not have been caused by a human being, because the force required was too great. Adding another layer of strangeness, some of their clothing was found to be radioactive. Not dangerously so, but enough to be highly unusual. There were no signs of other people, no footprints besides their own, and no evidence of an animal attack. Every logical theory began to crumble. Was it an avalanche? Unlikely. The slope where the tent was pitched wasn't steep enough for a major slide, and if it was a small one, why would they run a full mile away in a panic, instead of just digging out their tent? Hypothermia can cause paradoxical undressing, but it doesn't explain the violent internal injuries or the missing tongue. The Soviet government, known for its secrecy, quickly classified the case files. The official cause of death was stated as a compelling natural force, a vague, unsatisfying conclusion that explained absolutely nothing and only fueled speculation for decades to come. What kind of natural force selectively removes organs and leaves traces of radiation? Whispers and local legends started to surface. The indigenous Mensi people spoke of ancient spirits that guarded the mountains, angered by the hikers' intrusion. Others reported seeing strange, glowing orange spheres in the sky on the night the hikers vanished. Could it have been a secret military weapons test gone horribly wrong? Some of the hikers' own photos, developed from a camera found at the scene, seemed to capture one of these strange lights in the dark sky. A silent, glowing orb hanging over the mountain. But the official explanation dismissed it all. For 60 years, The mystery of Dyatlov past remained frozen in time, a chilling campfire story told by mountaineers and conspiracy theorists. Then, in 2019, the Russian government reopened the case. Their new, modern investigation came to a conclusion: a slab avalanche. They proposed that a slow-moving slab of snow pressed down on the tent, causing the initial panic. But this theory still leaves too many questions unanswered. A small avalanche doesn't explain why they ran so far in different directions. It doesn't explain the horrific internal injuries without external damage. It certainly doesn't explain why one woman's tongue was missing. And it doesn't explain the terror that made them rip their way out of their only shelter. The final pieces of the puzzle just don't fit. One of the last photographs taken by the group is perhaps the most haunting. It's a blurry, chaotic shot taken from inside the tent. Looking out, it's just a strange shape against the dock fabric. Was it the last thing one of them saw before the panic set in? Minutes before this, they were calm, warm, and alive. Minutes later, something unseen and unheard drove them out into the lethal cold, running for their lives from a threat that left no trace. Today, a simple memorial stands on the pass, a silent tribute to the 9 souls who were lost there. The wind still howls across the desolate slopes, carrying with it one of history's most enduring and terrifying mysteries. Some say that if you listen closely, you can almost hear their names in the wind. The mountain keeps its secrets well, and perhaps some secrets are not meant to be known. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the Dyatlov Pass mystery.